Hello, my name is Dean Bissett, and I am doing my vlog for New Student Dialogue. And since I went to a makeup session, we had about 200 people in a room. So instead of doing a dialogue, we did more of a lecture with 2 videos. And the New Student Dialogue that I went to was Intercultural Resolution. And in the lecture, it consisted mainly of 2 videos. The first video was of this Nigerian woman, and she was talking about the one story, which she had many examples of this, but her first example was when she was growing up in Nigeria. She had a slave boy work in her house, and all she heard about the boy and his family was how poor they were. So she had a stereotype or a one story of them, just thinking that they were poor and not really thinking of them of anything but poor. And one day, her family and her went to the boy's house, and she was surprised to see that the family had made things, and that they weren't just poor, they were other things besides poor. And this shocked her because she always just had a one story of them until she realized that they were more than what they were. And she has another example of this when she went to London for college, and her roommate had a one story of her as a Nigerian woman, and she could tell from her roommate's voice that she already stereotyped her just from first meeting her, and she didn't get to know her until later when she realized that she was more than just a stereotype of being a Nigerian woman. And she has one last example when she was in the US, and she was talking about how she's heard on the news about Mexicans and how they were crossing the border illegally. And she had a one story of Mexicans that were crossing the border, living illegally in the US, taking people's jobs. And one day she went to Mexico, and she found out that these stereotypes, although some of them may be true, they weren't the whole story. They were only one story to Mexicans and the whole population. Let me get to the questions. What would it look like if we approached our conflicts with empathy? I think if we approached our conflicts with empathy, we would be more able to resolve our conflicts, hence the name of the New Student Dialogue, and we would be able to realize what the other person was thinking and why they felt that way, and it makes it so you're better to work in a group and understand people. How do you react to the comment, "We show solidarity with our compassion"? To show compassion for someone, you need to see them as a human. And if you have a stereotype of someone, it's hard to have compassion for them because you only have that stereotype to go on, and you don't see them as an actual human being with more than just one story. The next question: is it possible that we could extend our empathy to the entire human race? The second video that we watched in the New Student Dialogue mainly reflected on this question, where it was talking about in the beginning we had empathy for our blood ties, and then as history progressed, we started having empathy for people in tribes, and then empathy for people in our religion, and then to today where we have empathy for people within our nation. And the video was talking about how we keep progressing and progressing, that one day we might be able to have empathy for everyone in the world. Why do you think dialogue is a component of Lib 100? for college, you have a lot of group work, and there's a lot more diversity than there was in high school, and you have to be able to understand people from different cultures and be able to relate with them and drop the stereotype that you have of them, and that's why I think it's important. And that's it. How do I stop it, Chimmy?
Can you hear me?
Yes, how do I stop it?